Okay, that was awesome. I just watched the first episode of this Chinese animation, as well as another called Crystal Sky of yesterday, and I came to a realization. There won't be an animation movement on this scale in South Africa for a very long time. Because in order to do so, it would require three main things. Number one, the economy. In the past few decades, China's economy has been growing like no other economy has in history. This has allowed China to fund hundreds, thousands of animators, which is necessary to create and encourage artists to contribute to the animation scene. The anime scene in Japan has the exact same story. When Japan's economy became huge, it became easier to fund animators, giving the country the financial freedom it needed in order to engage in creating a subculture of animation. It takes a very long time to create animations. In order to have an entire movement like the anime movement, a country should be able to easily fund hours and hours of work that won't pay off, with the goal of landing on a few projects that will begin to shape and define the movement. A country like South Africa cannot afford to do this, and probably won't for a very long time. The first thing you'll notice about the growing Chinese animation scene is that it uses anime as a blueprint, while bringing local Chinese concepts to the mix. Part of the reason why Chinese animation has become so successful is because it's a part of a larger Asian animation movement, particularly East Asian animation movement. Leveraging the similarities in East Asian cultures, both modern and old, has allowed it to appeal to a wider audience. While anime and manga took the full force of the wind, Korea with manhwa and China with its Donghua began flying right behind it in a V formation. This means that the obstacles that have been overcome by Japan don't need to be overcome by China. Instead, their challenge is to find their own place in the V formation. It is because of all the overlap in the East Asian cultures, both old and new, and in their media, that they don't have to start their own V formation. South Africa, on the other hand, has no V formation that it can join as an African country. It will have to start the V formation itself by taking the full force of the wind, something that it cannot afford to do, at least not easily. And finally, number three, style. In order to become the head of the V formation, South Africa would have to develop a defining style that others would wish to imitate and use as a blueprint for their animations. The problem, of course, is that South Africa still hasn't found its distinct style in animation. There are a lot of artists competing to bring their suggestions to the table, and this should eventually lead to a unique South African style of animation. However, with good animations being far and few between, it will take a long time before any style distinct to South Africans will emerge. But is it possible for South Africa to join the V formation from East Asia, turning it into a global movement rather than just an East Asian market? And would Africans and Asians even appreciate such a move? Maybe, maybe not. But in the next video, I'm going to speak about how the animation movement could possibly spread into becoming a third world animation movement and become an aesthetic used by the third world for telling their stories and their point of view by emerging economies, which is a very interesting idea in my opinion. So subscribe if you want to hear more. Make sure to leave a comment if you disagree with anything that I said, and yeah, let's have a discussion. Oh, and don't forget to leave a recommendation for a Donghua or an anime or any anime from your country, whether it's Japan, China, Korea, Vietnam, because I'm really interested in seeing how the Southeast Asian animations look like. And yeah, That's all.